Who's that? Who's that? Okay, that's the camera. See the camera? There's Brendan. Hi, don't touch. Don't touch. No, no.
Okay, Brendan,
No,
come here.
no.
Come to Mama.
No, no.
Come on.
We'll record you, Pepaw. We just want to know the history of the Hogans. And the history of you and Bolivar, Pepaw. So we can have it on tape for Brendan.
So what year did...
What year did the Hogans come to Bolivar?
Is it open?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
William Hogan Sr. and his wife Josephine came to Bolivar in December 1881. They formerly lived in Venango County, Pennsylvania.
What brought them to Bolivar?
The oil.
Oil?
The oil excitement attracted them to Bolivar, the same as it did several other families who still have survivors in this area. Do you want to say anything about my mother's family?
Sure.
My mother's family came to Bolivar in 1881 too. However, they had resided in Friendship, 10 miles north of Bolivar, since early 1880. They were attracted to this area because of the oil excitement. My mother's father, John Moran, was a drilling contractor, having drilled several wells in the local area in the early days, and he also was an oil producer. My grandfather, Hogan, was an oil producer too. Later, my grandfather Hogan opened a restaurant, saloon as they were called in those days, on Main Street in Bolivar.
Mm-hmm.
He acquired considerable real estate on Main Street, which subsequently was sold after his death. My grandfather Hogan and his wife had one son in addition to my father. His name was Frank. He was 10 years my father's junior. They had 4 daughters who died of scarlet fever in Venango County, Pennsylvania.
Mm.
From an epidemic of scarlet fever. 3 of whom died in 1 week.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, things progressed in Bolivar, and as the oil production decreased, people left the town. However, my families remained in Bolivar for the remainder of their lives. That is, my grandparents and my parents.
We're trying to control Brendan, the great-grandson. Brendan's all over.
That's all. He can't. There's nothing he can't damage anything. The only thing, I don't want him to fall.
Hello. Kissy, kissy, kissy. This is the first great-grandson.
There.
Yeah.
You going to sit on my lap?
Oh,
whoa, 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 whoa.
Hello. Hello.
Brendan, we're learning some very important
Hello.
history.
We're learning history, Brendan.
Okay. You're really, really going to want this someday,
Yes.
okay? Let's be a good boy and let Pepaw talk. Oh.
He's making faces at me.
Are you two boys making faces at each other?
You two behave.
He's
You two behave.
This is Bill
Okay.
again.
Okay.
I
Short.
spent my entire life in Bolivar, excepting 4 years at school and in the service of the United States Navy for 3 years during World War II. I'm satisfied that I was born and raised here and happy to still be here. Now I'm the only Hogan in Bolivar.
Where did you go to college?
Villanova.
At Villanova?
Yeah. That was I finished there in 1927. And I've been in Bolivar all my life.
What did you major in? What was your studies?
Economics.
Economics?
Yeah. A BS in economics. I was not a star student, Pat. No. I liked the social life and sports better than I liked 101.
Oh, so that's where all of us got it from.
Huh?
That's where all of us got it from then.
Yeah,
Our
yeah,
sports
that's right.
and
That's right, Pat.
our
Yes.
mischief with
Yeah.
with things.
Yeah, yeah.
After you got out of the Navy, what took place after the Navy, Pepaw? After the war ended, World War II.
World War II. I came back to Bolivar, and I've lived in this house ever since. My father bought this house when I was in the Navy,
Mm-hmm.
and and my wife's, your grandmother Mary, your grandmother Mary,
Mhm.
Pat, her father rebuilt this house
Oh.
when I was still in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And we came here, and I've lived here. All of us have lived here ever since.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah. All 6 were raised here.
Mm-hmm. How did you meet Hogan?
Huh?
How did you meet Hogan? How did you guys meet?
Well, of course, she lived on the same street that I did before on Wellsville Street,
Okay.
and she and I met at the hospital.
Oh.
That's where we actually met.
Mm-hmm.
And at the hospital during an illness to a person, and I gave her a ride home, and that's when we met.
Oh.
That was, I can't tell you the year, probably was around 1940, 41, I'd say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What year did you get married to Hogan?
Hmm?
What year were you
We were married
married?
in 1943.
43?
Yeah. That's when I went on active duty.
Mm-hmm.
In 1943, 44, and 45. And during my tenure in the Navy, we lived in Virginia most of the time, Norfolk, and we also lived in a town in Maryland on the Virginia line named Pocomoke City, Maryland.
Oh.
And in one summer we spent at Ocean City, Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
which I understand is now a great summer resort.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, an awful lot of Washington people came there even back in the 40s.
Well, they still do.
But it didn't amount to anything. But today, I guess it's
Mm-hmm.
Rehoboth Beach, and what they tell you the name of the beach was it in Maryland?
Ocean City?
Ocean City. I
think.
understand they're practically growing into one another in
Yes.
size
Yeah.
and expansion.
Yeah.
Rehoboth South and Ocean City North.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand they've almost gotten together.
When you came back, what year did you come back to Bolivar? after living in Maryland?
January 1946.
46?
Yeah, actually, I was separated from the Naval Service in January 1946.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did you do for a living when you came back to Bolivar?
Well, I had some oil properties,
Mm-hmm.
oil production. I also, at that time, had an insurance business, the New York State Oil Producers Association, the compensation insurance business,
Mm-hmm.
which well, it flourished until about 1960 when everything decreased in this area.
Mm-hmm.
The price of oil declined and the wells become flooded out, as they say. But the one thing you remember in that connection is the fact that there's still more oil left in place in the ground than has been extracted by primary and secondary methods.
Mm.
Always remember that. There's as much and a little more down there than there was originally.
Wow.
And that's something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And remember.
How did you acquire the oil property?
Well,
Did you purchase?
well, by purchase and inheritance and so forth.
Your grandfather owned the land originally?
Well, my father.
Your father?
My father and some lands, and then I was in partnerships with different people,
Mm-hmm.
and I acquired a lot of the partnerships. Some of it was
I see.
given to me, some of it was by inheritance,
I see.
and then I purchased some too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good.
Oh, Brendan eating or
Yeah. Oh.
that's Mrs. Beasley.
There's Mrs. Beasley.
Mrs. Beasley.
Was that your
That's
Aunt
Mrs.
Annie's?
Beasley.
Was that Great Aunt Annie's?
That was
doll?
your Aunt Mary's.
Aunt Mary's.
That was your Aunt Mary's.
Great Aunt Mary's doll, honey.
Uh-huh. Pepaw, did you play any sports?
Pardon?
Did you play any sports? What sports did you play?
Oh, baseball.
Baseball?
Baseball and football, but sports in those days was very, very crude, Pat.
Uh-huh.
Very, very.
Oh. What are some of your fondest memories of Bolivar? What are some highlights of?
Well, I can't say. Being in the parade last week, Pat.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah. 4 of us old pioneer oil producers were in the parade last Saturday.
Ah.
Yeah.
Did you throw candy? Did you throw candy?
No, that's one thing we didn't do.
Didn't do?
We didn't do that, Pat.
How about your children? After what year was your children born? When was Uncle Paul born? In
1944.
44?
1944.
In Bolivar? Or was he
They
born?
were all born at St. Francis Hospital in Olean.
Uh-huh. Mama.
I know, Mama's fault. Sorry.
No, all of them were born at St. Francis. Pepaw, 1944. Your father Johnny in 1945. Pat and Mike in 1946.
Mm.
Annie in 1949. And Mary in 1951. That takes care of 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any advice you can give? Any advice you can give to us as a
Just
family?
be good boys and good girls. And adhere to the teachings of your church. And remember that. Be faithful
Good advice.
and consistent and dedicated. Well, I shouldn't give you all these things because I have a lot of vices too.
Well, I think
Which
everybody.
Which everyone has.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
Sure, Pat. Where did Brendan go?
He's right out here in the kitchen.
Oh, he's in the kitchen. And that floor in the kitchen is good and clean because Carol Carol
Just
cleans the life out of them
yep,
on Fridays,
yep.
so it can't be very dirty.
Secret to long, he's 95 years old. What is the secret to long, healthy, prosperous life?
Yeah. We want to know what's your secret. What is your secret to living such a long and prosperous life?
I don't know, Pat. I really don't have any secret.
No
of my
secret at all?
longevity. I really don't.
Maybe,
I'll admit that I've never had any serious diseases or anything. Never.
mm-hmm.
And maybe it's because I've lived in Bolivar.
Could be, yeah.
That could be the answer, you know. If I lived in New York or Philadelphia or some other place, who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
I might have acquired different habits
Yeah.
and some type of sickness, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. We'll shut it off. We want to thank Pepaw for his time, and then we are going off. Okay.